Hey guys, as I mentioned, I had a brief little announcement coming in terms of a promotion for my warm audience. So the only place people should be seeing this is three areas. My private member Facebook group, I'm sorry, my open free Facebook group. So anybody that's in the PDOCS group, anybody on my personal timeline here on Facebook, or anybody that's subscribed or sees it on my YouTube channel. But basically what we're doing is we recently reopened enrollment into the PDOCS client acquisition method. Many of you guys may know that was in the past, we had that program called Auto Organic. We used to charge $6K for that. And the first year we rolled out that offer, we did 1.6 million cash collected, 2.3 million invoiced our first year rolling out that program. We've revamped it, we've updated it, we've made it better. More importantly, for anybody watching, we've made it much, much more affordable, which you guys may all know. It is now a $50 a week membership, so only $50 to get into the program. Now, I've had a couple new enrollees come in the last week, and I just want to cover something we're doing a little different, or maybe you guys didn't know about. And then for the next 5 people that enroll, I'm going to give away a $500 to $750 value in addition to your $50. So literally 10 to 15x whatever you're paying into the program. You're going to get all that stuff we talked about that we used to charge thousands of dollars for, in addition to this exclusive session. So let me just dive into that. I don't want to take up much of people's time, and I want to just keep this brief. So 2 things are going to happen. One thing that's happening for any client that comes in, and again, any of the recent people, if somebody hasn't had this yet, and you're seeing this, just reach out to me. I think almost everybody, there's only 1 or 2 people I can think of that didn't get on my calendar, or we haven't worked out a time yet that's enrolled in the last few weeks that haven't got these one-on-ones. These should happen, especially this one, within the first 48 to 72 hours of enrollment. But the first thing we do is a one-on-one kickoff call where there's really 6 main aspects we're going to go over. So again, this is just the template for what we're going to cover on the kickoff call and have very specific clarity on where we're going to go. And then here's an example of one I did a week or 2 ago with a new enrollee into the program. I think I did this a week ago today, if I'm not mistaken. But basically had a kickoff call. There's the person's name, the niche and industry that he's targeting, real estate agents, real estate companies. And then I built out step 1 with him, specifically where we are at, and with our catch up, he had to go to the offer building worksheet phase, which kind of ties right into the freebie here. You guys know that I have done, hundreds and hundreds of offer creation sessions and crafted hundreds of high ticket offers that have been validated and sold in the marketplace for our students and clients. And generally speaking, that came with our high ticket 6K program. Within our $50 week, that is an upsell. So normally people, if they just book me for a one-on-one offer session, it's $750, usually about an hour-long session. For members and students, if they can't figure it out off the curriculum and they still need my help with that, I knock off a couple $100 and I only charge $500. But everybody that enroll, I shouldn't say everybody, the next 5, I was very specific about that enroll will get a one-on-one offer session in addition to the kickoff call. So for Dwayne, for instance, what he had to do, number 1, was go get his worksheet filled out. We scheduled an offer session. We've already done that, and that was amazing. That went a little over an hour with Dwayne. And maybe I can have him give me a little feedback just so you guys can hear. But you've heard it from other people, and you kind of seen what I've done on my offer session. And then, I kind of he told me all about it in a very kind of long form, and I just kind of condensed it down to, hey, this is really what you have to do, right? And this is what we have to look into right away to dial this in. Number 2, when we got into his ideal client, what he had to do after this session, and what this is for is, hey, Ray, what do I need to focus in here in the next 5, 10, 15 days that are going to move the needle and get me toward monetization, toward validation, toward scaling, whatever the goal or the objective is, right? That's why we're going to talk about the immediate objective and the approach. But what I need to know is the niche and industry we're targeting, the offer, the deliverables, the features, for lack of a better phrase. I need to know who we're targeting. And when we got in talking to Dwayne about it, he had a very general, but he needs to do, there should be 3 things that we're really identifying with our ideal client, right? Number 1, the who, and basic in this case was real estate agents and companies. Number 2, we want to identify some parameters or prerequisites for our ideal client, as you see the examples on the stage. Number 3, we need to always think, what have they already tried, or what might they try instead of enrolling with our program, service, agency, what have you, right? So at least those 3 things early on, before we get to the offer session, and then I fine tune that in that session. What he needed to do was a little more research, and this kind of tied right into number 2. So part of number 2 was, doing the PDOCS research, which he has access to all of those resources, spreadsheets, templates, everything he needs. And I told him specifically he needs to focus on finding outliers, hooks and pain points. For instance, in the real estate industry, it's going to be about exclusivity versus shared lead. It's going to be about how we're acquiring that. Is it firsthand fresh, or is it recycled? And so there's a lot of different things that he needed to dive into a little bit there. His immediate objective, once we get the offer dialed in, is how do we now start getting into conversations, sales calls, sales pitches, closing deals, and enrolling clients and monetizing, right? So he needs to start with outreach strategies. He needs to engage with the audience and offer solutions, knowledge gaps, unexpected solutions, as I always like to say. And the strategy of and the approach would be different. What Dwayne's going to focus on now is platform Facebook, where he's going after his ideal audience primarily through group strategies, question-based posts relevant to the topic or the offer, free resources, value solution, creating his own homework assets and resources, and me helping with that. So that's just a kind of taste of everything we do in the kickoff call. And then just to give you an example, most of you guys have probably seen it. I know I have one or two. So this is one I just filled out for a specific offer that I'm brainstorming and collaborating with two other multi-million-dollar earners on for a mastermind we're bringing to market later in the month. But point being is what people need to do is come in here, when I'm going to do the offer session, anybody that I'm going to do that for that enrolls will get this sheet and they're going to go in and start to fill this out. Then in our session, I revise it and refine it and, give you some tips or pointers on how to tighten this up a little and just make it pop better and be more effective. So we really answer these 6 questions, which you can see highlighted there are the answers. We highlight the 4 big obstacles that your prospect will need to overcome to achieve said result. Once we understand the problem, the solution I offer, who suffers from it, yada, 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 right? We need to know their big obstacles that will stop them. And that's the initial aspect that I have clients fill out before we actually dive in and sit down and fill out their offer. And that's where we dial in the 4 Ps of how it's packaged, position, price, perceived in terms of value. And we put together all the pillars and deliverables. And then I even pitch it back to the client or the student as if he's his prospect in the future until I've overcome objections and he's ready to hand me his credit card. So it all makes 100% of sense. So I tried to keep that as short as possible. I don't have my timer on. Hopefully this wasn't too long. But exclusive offer, the link will be below here in the description, so you can go check out everything that's included in the program, the curriculum, the support, all of that. I'm not going to cover all that here. There's a little video at the top of the page, but again, $50 to get started, free giveaway of the offer session for the next 5 students. And of course, everybody gets the kickoff session to really get that immediate wins and the quick approach on what we need to be implementing, executing, and knocking off right off the bat so we can start to get to productivity and monetization.